Y'all will be invited. Don't worry, y'all will be invited. Yeah.
Good evening. The Natchitoches Parish School Board meeting is now called to order. Today is November the 11th, 2025. Our prayer this evening will be led by Pastor Stephen Harris. Our pledge will be led by Mr. Emil Matwire. And after the prayer and the pledge, we will continue to stand for a moment of silence for an employee who has departed and also in honor of Veterans Day. So please stand.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, we ask that you would bless this meeting. Our discourse will be amicable. Pray, oh gracious Father, for as we celebrate the Veterans Day. And Lord, we ask that we will do all of this in Jesus' matchless name. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, board members. If you'll continue standing in honor of Miss Georgette Lewis. She was a beloved custodian at East and Magnet School, and also in honor of Veterans Day. Thank you. You may be seated. I would like to remind the public to please silence your cell phones, and any board members, if you would please silence your cell phones as well. Could we start with a roll call period?
Mr. Danzy.
Here.
Mr. Matwire.
Here.
Mr. Benefield.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey. Here. Ms. Palmer. Here. Ms. Phelps.
Here.
Ms. Harvey. Here. Mr. Fredu.
Here.
Mr. Nicholson.
Here.
And Ms. Page. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Superintendent Eloy, do you have any updates for us tonight?
Yes, ma'am. A few updates, and then we have one special guest. Excuse me, my voice, I lost it right before we got started. But a few items that y'all had asked about last week that I was able to give you updates. The bus RFP that Miss McGaskey asked about, I was hoping I'd have it for you tonight, but we have a meeting Friday where we should get the draft. So if I get that Friday, I will send that out immediately to y'all, and you can peruse that with any suggestions or concerns that you may have. I also, Mr. Fredu asked me to get some information from the bus company. I was able to get a few bits of information that I think are germane to the RFP, busing in general, but then also the possibility of the stagger start discussion in December. The longest route on average is Route 100, and it runs on average 1.5 hours a day, or 1.5 hours for
One way.
Yes, for one way, sorry. The shortest route is Bus 73. It, on average, only runs about 25 minutes, again, one way. The average length of all routes combined from start to finish is close to an hour, about 50 odd minutes. I want to remind folks, though, that some people may look at this and say, well, school lets out at 3:10. My child gets home at, let's call it 4:30. Well, that's an hour and 20 minutes. We calculate from the time the child gets on the bus till the time they get off. So the bus may not arrive at the school until a few minutes after. So realize we're only talking here about the time on bus. A further piece of information that was requested was how many buses are picking up at that earliest time. Currently, 47.5% of all buses are starting routes between 6 and 6:15. We know that also probably includes some routes that are starting before 6 o'clock. So it's 38 routes, or 47.5% of all routes. There is an inability to say how many students are getting on between those time periods, but we do know that, again, close to 50% of our routes are starting at that earliest mandated time. And then finally, went to some amazing programs the past 2 days. People ask me all the time, oh, why don't we have Veterans Day off in our calendar? And not that I wouldn't enjoy to have another day, and that's probably going to set up Mr. Benefield for a joke there somewhere. But at the same time, if our kids are off on Veterans Day, they sleep late, they scroll on TikTok, they get on Roblox and video games. Whereas if they're in school, they get exposed to Veterans Day programs, history lessons, etc. And whether it was today at Lakeview, which included Lakeview and Fairview students, or yesterday at Natchitoches Central, or any of the myriad of other programs that happen, really great representation of our schools and what's good about them, and then also connecting with the older generation, and it was just really neat. So again, thank you to our veterans, especially those who work in our district, and thank you for our staff for making Veterans Day a day that students are learning more than their cohorts in other parishes that may have the day off. And that is my really smooth way of encouraging us to keep the calendar the way it is currently. With that being said, we also have a special guest. Mr. Royal Martin is here, and I think he also brought a guest with him as well, Miss Laura Lyles, but she just waved me off. He's here because, as we know, he is a friend of Natchitoches Parish. He is a friend of the board, and he has some stuff he'd like to talk to us about, both about the great things going on at Royal Martin, but then also some things that they've done and invested in Natchitoches Parish schools here recently that he'd like to share.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, Madam President. Thanks for having me today, and it's great always to be in Natchitoches with the meat pies and everything else. So I'm going to bring a lot of them back to Ellick. But we built a plywood plant in Natchitoches, first plywood plant built at that time in 14 years, right down the road in Chopin, the metropolis of Chopin, Louisiana. That plant will be 30 years old on March the 8th, 2026. 30 years ago, we were peeling veneer at this point in time. And so we're so proud to be there. And I can tell you this, it is still the most modern plywood plant in North America and the largest. And the reason it's the most modern are some of the things that we've been doing. We've had to compete with the Brazilian and Chilean and Paraguay products that come in at subsidized prices. And we just have to be better. And some of the things I'm going to tell you about what we're doing is going to make it even more modern, more efficient, and have new products. And that's the most exciting thing to me, is we are going to make better things with the wood that we already have so we can stay competitive. And the other thing that dawned on me is I've been here, we opened the plywood plant 30 years. We have never built a playground in Natchitoches Parish. And I'm sorry about that, because we have in Polk County as well too. I've got 2 of them there. I've got 3 of them in Rapides Parish and 1 in Allen Parish. Why haven't I done that? I just haven't thought about it. Nobody's asked me. So this is $50,000.
Wow. Yes, he's trustworthy.
I know you'll make a lot of children very happy about that, because that's kind of what we fell into doing. We started building playgrounds, and I think it's great to show that, and I look forward to the ribbon cutting on that. So, but meanwhile, we have about $48 to $50 million being spent right in your parish, right down the road, and we have a myriad of products. Jeremy Burford is Executive Vice President of our manufacturing facility, and he is very, very busy. And our team is working well to build another office with a better nursing station. As you know, we have nurses and a nurse practitioner at the plant site. We started with, 30 years ago, we had about 300 employees working there. Now we have 720, and that'll probably go to 730, 740 in the near future. And that's one thing that we're doing there, is building a nice new office building we're getting out of the trailers that we've been in temporarily for 15 years. And so that's one nice thing we're doing. The other thing we're doing is we're increasing our warehouse space, because we're taking up warehouse space with projects like this. That is an auto route. That is one of the most modern systems in the world that can scan a piece of plywood, see a defect, have a robotic arm that routes that defect out and puts either patch or a polymer in it so you can sand it off and paint over it. And that has been done by hand. And it is kind of one of those, like J.P. Morgan says, a no-joy job. It is a no-joy job. So we have been very successful with the scanning technology. It's actually out of Norway, a company called Argos, we found that they can see the different colors and the depth of our defects and route them out and fill it with polypatch. And Brett Danzy's very excited about that because he doesn't have to work on that nasty line anymore. So those are gone. That's going in. It also takes up warehouse space. So we had to build a warehouse first before that equipment came in. And yes, I did pay a tariff on it from Norway, 15%. Thank you. That's a very exciting process because it's working extremely well. It's working better than we projected. So that's even more exciting, is that a vendor actually delivered on something they promised. So that's number one project, and that's in the $8.5 million. With that, we're going to take those people that are working in that no joy job and put them in a joy job. That we are going to have a value added line that's going to take a piece of plywood that was being used for concrete form. When you pour concrete, you have to have a form around it. All of the massive amount of highway construction going on, building construction, pipelines, transmission lines, it's trillions of dollars being spent. And so we're going to take that piece of plywood and we're going to paint a polymer on it that we have developed with another chemical company that we have patented. And it's a polymer that will last 60, 70 times. So you don't have to throw that piece of plywood away after just 5 times. And more importantly, too, when they're building skyscrapers, they have a form that goes every floor. And if you have 60 or 70 times of use, you don't have to bring that form down and replace the panels. So we're very excited about this product, and that will be, this time next year we'll be making it. So that's another big project that we're doing at Chopin that will preserve the life of that plant for many, many years. The other thing we're doing is we are going to make battens out of our cores. Landscape timbers is what we're making now, but that market is disappearing. Kind of like craft paper, as I'll notice with the Campty plant. So what we're going to do with those is we're going to make battens out of them, and use them internally at our 3 OSB plants and at Chopin. So we're going to take the fluctuation in cost of those battens. We use about 2.7 million of them a year. And so we're going to use those internally. And if it works well enough, we may make some more and sell them on the outside. So that's another possibility, because it won't take all of our cores. It'll take about 50% of them. So we may have some to sell, or if the landscape business continues at a smaller pace, although some pace, we can sell landscape timbers. We're just going to be flexible, because I can't predict the future.
Right.
That's the truth. So if the landscape timber goes away, I have to chip those landscape timbers now, and there's not a real good market for chips because of the closures at Campty and Orange, Texas, and other places. So that's what we're doing. We're becoming more flexible to that. And finally, we are spending about $4.5 million on the first green composer that will, if you've ever been in a plywood plant, we try to use every piece of the log that's possible, and that increases our recovery for less expense. But you have pieces that are not 4 by 8. You have strips. And so we're going to take those strips and stitch them together. And what that's going to do, it's going to make our dryers that we're drying the strips in much more productive, because when you're hand pushing a strip into a dryer, it's like pushing a rope up a hill. It is difficult work, another no joy job. And so what we're going to do is stitch those together and have a better feeding system to increase our dryer capacity and our production capacity of the whole plant. So we're very, very excited about these projects. Like I said, it's going to be up to about $48 million on expenditures. It'll make our plant much more viable for the future to compete against all of the imports and other plants too. So we are using about 50% of our furnished timber off our own lands in Louisiana. So that's a lot of severance tax for the parishes, and also we're using the port now. We are shipping chips up to the International Paper Company plant in Oklahoma, and we're using that port now as of last week. So I don't know how long that's going to last, because those chips are pretty expensive, so I'm not sure the viability of that business on a long time. And the other thing we are doing is at Natchitoches Central, we are hiring more, not enough, but we are hiring more high school students right out of school. And they're going to work at $19.50 an hour, and soon, like after 6 months, they're making $21 an hour. So they have great health care, great profit sharing plan with us, and we hope and really expect to hire a lot more people directly out of Natchitoches Central, for sure. And with our Woodworks program, Connie Baker, and Kenyatta and all of them are really focused. Melanie Chapman is leading that charge, and I hope that we can develop those students to see the value of going into the forest products industry. So, the other little news. One more thing. I'll be short. Yesterday was our 102nd anniversary for Royal Martin, and I announced that I am stepping back. I've had my 42 years. I have 5 grandchildren, so Scott Poole is going to be the new CEO as of 12/31, and I will be taking care of the money as Chief Investment Officer and Chairman of the Board. And so I'll still be involved with what else are we going to do with the pine tree and those kind of projects, but I'll be stepping back on responsibility. So I don't know if y'all got the announcement, but we sent it out this morning about that. So it's going to be fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Martin.
Any questions?
Picture of him.
Yes, Mr. Martin, I wanted to tell you thank you so much for your many, many contributions to Natchitoches.
Yes.
Thank you for investing in joy for children.
Yep.
We love that very much. Would you mind taking a picture with us?
Sure.
Ask a question, please.
Oh, yes.
Oh, questions first.
Yes.
I heard you say, and we appreciate the donation for the playground equipment. I just happened to be visiting one of the schools today, which is the Natchitoches Junior High School. She's actually the school board person, but I visit schools and have a granddaughter. I wanted to ask, since you all are so giving and you think in terms of our children here in Natchitoches Parish, I spoke to the principal briefly, and I said, "Oh, you have pretty good playground equipment." And I saw the kids out. It was early afternoon, playing on the playground, and he said, "Oh yeah, but it's really old. It's
old.
been here forever." And so, in the giving spirit, and I know that you will, and you don't mind, since you all have so much money available for such programs for the schools.
Okay.
Natchitoches Parish being one of them, I'm going to ask on behalf of the school board and the Natchitoches Junior High School if you all will donate some additional monies to replace the playground equipment at Natchitoches Junior High School.
Well, could you give me a
Play with
budget?
some woodwork.
I
Let
will
them
get
play with some woodwork.
With the superintendent and the principal, I told him that I will ask, I try to fulfill my promise.
We like to fix things up, there's no doubt. But,
Thank you so very much for that
So yeah, give me a budget and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Harvey, you had a question.
I want to thank you so much for what you're doing. And the playground equipment is going to help a whole lot, especially our children with special needs. I'm hoping that we get equipment for them to play on too, especially.
Alexandria has a playground for special needs kids right there by the old Aces baseball thing. I can take a picture of that and see if that will work.
We've already been working with the school to look at their needs to make sure, and I think they've looked at a bunch of different iterations, so we will definitely keep that in mind as we go, Ms. Harvey, for sure.
Good, good. Maybe we can stretch these dollars some too, you know.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Okay, picture time.
thank you.
Board members, come
Ms. Sankia, I think definitely needs to be in this picture.
on, come on, everybody.
Oh, is everybody, I thought they did. I don't wanna put I don't take out with it, not Tankia. Hide it so you don't know. Doc Elo, I didn't give it to you. Yeah, he didn't give you nothing. We got to come in.
Here it goes. Okay, so I need, can y'all,
Y'all might have to get on this.
just a little bit more. Say hello.
You want to get your film on that in?
I think we're good. Hold on. Yes, perfect.
Take care.
They had it.
Let's go party tonight.
Fix your iPad work.
Oh, yeah, John.
Yeah, it sure was. It was really annoying.
That's why I was surprised when, yeah.
So I know how to
when
fix
they-
this, but I can't fix it. Wow. That was super generous of them.
Very generous. Okay, Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. That concludes my updates for November 11th board meeting.
Thank you. Any questions, board members, for Dr. Eloy? Okay, moving along to item number 5, the consent agenda. Do we have an offer?
I'll offer.
Second.
We have an offer by Mr. Metoyer, a second by Mr. Danzy. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 6, informational reports. Tonight, we have item 6B, a student service report from Ms. Felicia Pinckney.
And I am projecting, but Mr. Cozad, are we having technical difficulties with
Locked up.
screen mirroring? Oh, there it goes. Never mind. All right. So just tell me, Felicia, whenever you want me to.
Yes, sir. So we've not had the opportunity to actually share with you all some of our data from the 24-25 school year. We've been just kind of trying to get it on the agenda, but we wanted to make sure that we formally shared some of our actions last year and some of the data as a result of it. So you probably saw some of this in some of the other reports that we've made, but we have almost, well, it's probably a little over 10,000 less missed days last year than the year before.
And Miss Felicia, you're doing this because we shared some of it with them, but this is the official state
This is
released
official
data.
from the state. So we went from 62 to 21 with just those few percentage points that we are so very, very proud of. We are thankful for the restructuring. I have an amazing team working with me, and we are still working really hard to
Felicia, you just
continue.
glanced over
I know.
62 to 21.
Can we stop there for a second? Like, that is amazing. Board members, give her a round of applause, her and her team.
I mean, there's only 70 LEAs in the state, so we were bottom 10,
Right.
and now you're top 21. So
Congratulations on that.
We are proud, and we have a lot of work to do. It's kind of hard when you see that there's so much more that we have to do, and we are still competing with some of those other districts that are doing so well. So it's good, but we still have a lot to do. So, and we're thankful for our schools, and just we had the education, a lot more communication I think that we've ever had. Mr. Miller, I'm looking at him because he's come on, let's get a list together and let's go out to some schools and support. So you can see that we are all green. You know that LDOE judges us on average daily attendance. That's how many students are in fact in the building per day. So let's talk about that. So we did see gains in every category, every school when it came to average daily attendance. And you can see overall, the district hit right at 93. So we're very excited about that. Okay, you can keep going, Dr. Eloy. So we were able to also see lots of growth in average days missed. That's another factor that LDOE put into place last year, and we were given, I think, this information in January, and LDOE says you've got to get from 14 days to 12. So we sat out to make that happen as best as we could, and we didn't get to 12, we got to 10. So that is now below the state's average of days. State's average is, I think, 11. I should have put it on here. 11, I think, 0.6. Doctor, I don't exactly remember, but it's a little bit over 11. So we surpassed our goal of getting to average 12 days missed. We're at 10.
And we pause for another round of applause. That is amazing.
So one other area, chronic absenteeism, is something else that LDOE tracks. So we were at 26.1 and we went to 19.3, so a significant decrease in our chronic absenteeism. And to explain what that is any student who has been enrolled at least 10 days and has missed 10%. So let's say if you're enrolled for 100 days, you're chronically absent if you miss 10 or more. So we were able to decrease our chronic absenteeism. It's still high, but we are working. Okay, Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am.
With truancy, we are seeing an overall 5% decrease, which this was our goal. I was hoping that we would have surpassed it, but truancy is is a lot harder because not only do you count the number of absences that a student has, but also late to school arrivals. And we had some schools that had some increases in late to school arrivals, so those are things that we're also having to look at. We were really focusing on getting bodies in the it was almost like, come, we just need you here. So now we're having to look even more at students being late, because truancy, by law, the definition is 5 unexcused absences in a term or 5 late to school. So it's just as important. You can be late 5 times or you can be absent unexcused 5 times. It's still truancy. But we are still happy to report a 5% decrease in truancy. Dr. Eloy, I think that's our last slide.
Sorry, it wasn't catching up. So,
All right.
And Felicia's always so humble, and she always acts like she's not the one who did this, but literally, this was 365 days of her and her team doing very difficult work with a lot of folks who didn't necessarily want to hear from them. And what she also doesn't include in this is through talking to these families, you find out all sorts of stuff, much of it very sad, much of it very difficult, and we're able to find out the context of why these parents and students are being late or not coming to school. And typically we're able to sometimes put them in touch with help to improve their situation. So it's a multifaceted thing. It's not just about the data. That data represents some families in very deep need.
Very deep needs. Very, very deep.
Ms. Pinckney, thank you so much. We appreciate you and your team.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of boots on the ground involved in this too, Mr. Miller and probably some others. So it's very much appreciated.
We want to make sure it's Joey Miller, Jasmine Dilworth, Jennifer Ingram, and Anita DuBois, who is now working with us as our FINS officer, and we see her at least, 3 times a week, I think now? So she's not here, but she's here.
Thank you. Okay, item 6F, school food service, Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am. And Ms. Hicks was not able to be here today, but the claims for October. She told me how to read this, and I've since forgotten. The claim was $315,626.80 for October. And then, if I pull up the other document, she has a brief report. They have an ongoing school food service audit that has gone very smoothly, and it will culminate with on-site visits December 16th and 17th, where they'll actually go visit some of the cafeterias, make sure that we're complying with everything. So far, our operations are good, and then she also attached the reimbursement, which I just shared with you. So if you have any questions that I will not be able to answer, but be able to convey to Ms. Hicks, please let me know.
Thank you so much. Item 7, Ms. Palmer.
7A, Finance, Facility Services, and Insurance. 7A, discuss and consider MOU with National Regional Medical Center for Health Occupations Experiential Learning Program.
Okay, do we have an offer?
I'll offer.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have an offer by Mr. Metoyer, a second by Ms. McGaskey. Is there any discussion or any questions? None noted at this time. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Danzy,
Yes.
Mr. Metoyer,
Yes.
Mr. Benefield,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey,
Yes.
Ms. Palmer,
Yes.
Ms. Phelps,
Yes.
Ms. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Fredu,
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson,
Yes.
and Ms. Page.
Yes.
Motion passed.
7B, permission to advertise for agricultural lease bids. I'll offer.
Second.
Okay, we have an offer by Ms. Palmer and a second by Mr. Metoyer.
And I do want to add a brief note here because this was added in between. You'll notice the lease agreement has everything that the board had discussed with Mr. Stamey. There is not a dollar amount because this is not the bid information. The bid information we will do separately. That will be handled by staff. And I know that one of the items that the board is particularly interested in is making sure there's a minimum bid amount. And we can put that in the bid information. This is simply the lease agreement that the winning bid will sign.
Okay, board members, any questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Danzy,
Yes.
Mr. Metoyer,
Yes.
Mr. Benefield,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey,
Yes.
Ms. Palmer,
Yes.
Ms. Phelps,
Abstain.
Ms. Harvey.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Harvey. Did she vote?
Yes.
Mr. Fredu,
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson,
Yes.
and Ms. Page.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item 9, Mr. Danzy, executive report.
Want to take them all? Want to take executive report, item A through G. Is that all of them? Yes. Yes, A through G.
Okay, do we have an offer?
I'll offer.
Second.
Who's the second? Okay. We have an offer by Ms. Page, a second by Mr. Fredu. Any discussion or questions?
I got a question on D with the cameras. On the cameras in the special ed, how long do the cameras last before they start
30
30
days, which the state law mandates that we have to have it as a minimum of 30 days.
before they start taping over it?
Yes, sir. And typically what happens is we find out well before the 30 days. And even if a parent just mentions that there's a concern, we typically will pull the footage before they
Download
even
it.
ask. Download it to preserve it. We have not had an issue. I take that back. We've had one issue where a parent asked for footage in October. That was okay, but in their same ask for October, they asked for something in August, and we explained to them that was, I think at that point it had been almost 50 days, but there was no, they did not push that, and we referenced the state law that confirmed that. So.
Okay, board members, do we have any other questions? I know these policies were a holdover from the last meeting, and I know everyone had a chance to read them, but now is the time to ask any questions or clarifications if you need that. Okay, none are noted. If we could have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Danzy,
Yes.
Mr. Metoyer,
Yes.
Mr. Benefield,
Yes.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey,
Yes.
Ms. Palmer,
Yes.
Ms. Phelps,
Yes.
Ms. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Fredu,
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson,
Yes.
and Ms. Page.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. That concludes the executive report, and if there is no new business to come before the board tonight, we will entertain a motion to adjourn unless,
We'll join.
okay. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Meeting is adjourned.